You.
Welcome to episode 34.
Welcome back to Cookies and Milk. I'm your host, Ben.
I'm your host, William.
Today's topic is this fucking joke amount of putting this cookie in half.
I'm sorry. I tried. I really did.
I'm sure you did.
It's hard to divide something from the top. I had to grasp it by the top, so I made sure I ripped the cookies in half. Do you want the bigger half?
Why wouldn't you just crack it sideways?
I tried.
Okay.
I tried. That's how I got that.
Cookies
Do you want the bigger half?
No, I'm okay.
I've always given you the bigger half whenever I split them.
Cookies making a nest.
You're getting off topic. I'm your host, William. Did I already say that?
I don't think so.
I think I did. But
You probably did.
We're having the Chips Deluxe cookies. And Ben had a topic.
I do have a topic. I'm not sure if we've discussed this before or not, but my topic is what makes a game unplayable to you? Or what are the thresholds? What amount of... So there's a spectrum for the two bars in a video game, and that's gameplay and story.
Right.
And you can mix and match these as you will. A game can have great story and great gameplay, or terrible gameplay but a great story, or bad on both, or great gameplay but a terrible story.
A game that is unplayable to me is a game that wants to be a movie.
Yeah.
So, a game like Beyond Two Souls, which is just... You can complete the game... I've seen scenes of it where it's like it doesn't even matter that you fail the prompt.
Oh, yeah?
That you just keep going. There's so little interaction between the player and the game. It's just... I think you just turn off the parts of the game where it's like, oh, there's some player input, and it'd just be a movie. I don't like that.
What's the difference between that and, like a Tales game? Is it just that there's more player input? Like, you literally get to... You don't so much shape the stories, you do shape the characters?
You do both. You're still on a somewhat of a path, but there's still choices to be made and things to affect the story with.
Right.
You know? I'd say with Beyond Two Souls, do you make choices? I don't think you make choices in the game.
Yeah.
You're just going from scene to scene.
You definitely make choices in the other game. Heavy Rain is the other one by that director, right?
Really?
I think so.
That seems a lot different. I mean...
That was it?
No, I mean... I guess with that one joke scene from Heavy Rain where you're just sliding all around the market...
and yelling Sean.
You still get the guy, right? If you're chasing through the market, do you still get the guy if you fail all the prompts?
Oh, I don't think so, no.
Well, that makes sense. Well, then the story changes.
Yeah, that's true.
You can get multiple endings at the end of Heavy Rain, right?
Yes, I believe so, because you can not know.
Right. There's player choice on how to approach certain obstacles in Tales from the Borderlands that could lead to different outcomes.
Right. There's a lot of games that are literally just like, here's what you're doing.
Right. But what about the other spectrum? I'd say you can have a game with minimal...
That's zero gameplay. Or
Right.
minimal gameplay.
Right.
The good end of that is the best gameplay. The other end of that is bad gameplay.
Right.
Have you ever played a game where the gameplay was so bad, but the story was good enough to make you keep going?
Oh. I can't really... I mean, it's not the gameplay, it's the difficulty that got me, but Final Fantasy X-2...
Oh, yeah?
I really wanted to finish the story, because I loved the story in Final Fantasy X.
Right.
But the gameplay's garbage. It's a fake real-time, fake
RPG.
turn-based. Everything's on a timer, and it's hard to... all three of your people are on a timer. And the enemy is as well. And you gotta make that split decision when the bar fills what you want to do. And it's hard. It's annoying to process. I can't think that quick in the confines of an RPG.
When you can do so many things, putting you on a timer is nonsensical.
If it was Kingdom Hearts, I would be fine. because I can react normally. Like, I can move Sora around while I'm thinking of what to do.
Right.
I can't move Yuna around while I'm trying to think of what to do. She's just going to get hit the more I think about what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I think what's a fun concept that they did is you just don't have to play the game. And by that I mean you can just capture monsters and you can
have them fight?
Auto battle.
Right.
But you still have like an input. You say, how do you want to do more damage and be more aggressive, or do you want to take less damage and heal, and then at the base of that is run away.
Right.
So it's a balancing act, but you can just grab a boss monster and have it fight that way, like just a giant beast that you would fight as a boss.
Right.
That's fun, but there's so much, and it's hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I was following a walkthrough to get the best ending because I never wanted to play it again, but then I reached a point in the game where I'm fighting 3 Ronso, or 2 Ronso, and they're who Kamari's people are, and they're just so hard. And like, if I could wait a second and like actually strategize, then I could do something about it. Or if I wasn't constantly switching roles,
Right.
then I would be able to, like, okay, so Yuna is always this, Riku is always this, Pain is always this. It's never like that.
Characters consistently switch between what they have to be doing.
Right. I am like, oh, I need Yuna to be the warrior right now. It's just like switching out a character. But it's hard to expand on something, like, so many things. When in Final Fantasy X, it's like, okay, Titus is the quick warrior, Riku's the thief, Wakka's the long range, Lulu's the black mage, Yuna's the white mage.
As opposed to switching between roles, you were switching between characters.
Right.
Also, it's turn-based.
Also, it was turn-based, and there was only 7 characters.
Yeah.
At most, I think. Titus, Yuna, Wakka, Lulu, Riku, Kamari, Auron. Yeah, 7. I was right.
Sure.
There's someone else. And it's like, oh, you could go throughout the game without using certain characters. Like, I just didn't use Riku. Like, I know she's great, but I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't learn how good she is. But that's my example. I'm gonna eat some cookies while you...
Sure. I bring this up because I was talking about it the other day, about Nier. Nier is making this weird shift. As I get better and better in the game and unlock more abilities and things, Nier has shifted between good story and bad gameplay to bad story and good gameplay. Which is weird. I've never had this happen before. I was going to list off like what my thresholds are for actually playing a game and keeping up with the game, but they're non-existent. I'll play literally any video game, as long as I get someone invested into it.
That's not true.
I mean, I was like, well, here's some examples of bad gameplay I've played, like Resonance of Fate, but I was like, oh wait, the story is also bad in Resonance of Fate.
I thought you were liking the story.
It's okay. It's got bits and pieces where it's very good, but it doesn't carry itself well enough.
What's one of the main characters' name? Vashron?
Vashron?
I was right. Vashron, Zephyr, and who's the last girl?
Fuck.
You don't remember her name?
I do not remember her name. Her name's not that weird, like Vashron and Zephyr is. But at the very beginning, Nier was like your pretty typical RPG and everything. Except it's just like the gameplay was so basic and monotonous that it just didn't fucking matter. Mm-hmm. Like, and nothing felt good, and it kept like limiting you in how you could do things.
Well, then you got more power.
As you progress in the game and as you get more things to do, the game becomes more fun. But when the game got more fun, the story was like, all right, now strap in because we're really getting there now. And it should not have really gotten there. It's...
Like the story couldn't keep up with the gameplay?
Like it went too far ahead of the gameplay. Like it thought it was allowed to do all sorts of nonsense, but it was absolutely the fuck not. Hold on a second. I gotta... Zephyr Leanne.
Leanne's a pretty weird name.
Yeah, but it's I could see someone actually having that name. If you met a person named Zephyr in real life, you'd be like,
No, Zephyr's a real name.
Zephyr's like a wind. It's like a gust of wind.
Still, people are named Zephyr.
Real people? In the world?
I think people can be named Zephyr.
I don't think it's like a really white person thing to name someone.
Well, only Japanese people have named their character Zephyr then.
I think, did
The
Zephyr have a
creator-
different name in Japan? No, his name was Zephyr.
And think of it in One Piece. Zephyr. The film Z.
His name was Zephyr? I thought his name... Oh, yeah, you're right.
What else could it be?
I was just Zeph.
No. But that's Japanese people naming
Yeah.
characters Zephyr.
Anyways.
No one would be named What does Vashon mean?
Yeah, Vashon's nonsensical.
You would name your son Vashon.
That's a cool name. Vashon's a cool guy.
You like Vashon as a character.
I didn't dislike any of the characters.
Never make passes at chicks who kick asses.
Yeah.
That's what he says. He's a cool guy.
He's a cool
He
guy.
wears
He's
leather.
like-
Doesn't he wear leather coats?
Yeah, you can make everybody wear leather. They're all very fashionable, which is
Hold on a second.
a real up of the game. Fucking Nier doesn't have that.
You're
Nier's-
you're just a sad dad.
Nier's main character looks fucking horrible. Like, he's got one of the worst designed character models I've ever seen in a video game. And there's one part where, like, the kid turns into a skeleton.
What?
Spoilers for Nier. And he looks up at you because he can finally see with his eyes instead of being a Medusa. And he looks at you and is like, you look as just as cool as I thought you would. And I'm like, you are fucking lying right now. You're a fucking liar.
Doesn't he have like a stupid sword?
Yes, and that's the best sword in the game. It's the one I'm consistently using.
Like
It looks like a fucking triangle.
No, I thought it looked like the antagonist from Mulan's sword.
Oh, you start with that, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's all I remember.
Yeah. But, like, the story has gotten so far ahead of itself, and I expected this.
What's the story of the girl that's just like not wearing
Clothes?
clothes?
Haven't figured it out yet.
She's just there.
She's fucking always there. I hate her so much. Spoilers again for Nier. She's petrified. She gets petrified to the wall, ceiling in a shade that I beat the shit out of.
Yeah.
And she's like, I gotta do this because it's gonna regenerate itself consistently every time. And I'm like, no, it's not. I just kick the shit out of it. And then, so I sealed her up against the wall and I was like, oh no, Kaine is dead. And then, like, 5 years later, he's like, I figured out how to cure Kaine. And I'm like, you don't have to do that.
5 years? What the hell
There's
happened?
a 5-year time skip for no fucking
right
no
after
reason.
Kainen died.
Yeah, for absolutely no reason. There's a
fucking
5-year
kidding me?
time skip. You petrify her against the wall.
Aren't
the guy
you-
steals your daughter.
Aren't you trying to hold on a second?
The guy steals your daughter, and then there's a 5-year time skip.
Don't you have to cure your daughter though?
Yeah, she's got like a shade or whatever,
Why
but
the fuck didn't you go after your daughter?
because he flew into the sky. I got stabbed. Also, I was
Do you
stabbed.
think that stops Sad Dad?
It did. He got
What's
stabbed
Sad?
twice.
What's
he had
Sad
to save
Dad's
the
name?
book.
What's his name?
His name is Nier,
Fucking.
but his name is Ben X
That's
in
enough.
my game.
Okay. His name's fucking Nier.
That's the going name. But it's like and then you bring her back to life, and then you immediately go on a quest to go find the Shadow Lord's castle, and then she gets stabbed again, like right through the fucking heart chest. And I'm like, what? She's dead. That's very sad. And then you fight her as a shade, and then she's back, and I'm like, please die. You are useless. Get out of here.
I have a game to talk about after Nier.
And the story like has looped back in on itself because it's like going back to all the things after the 5 years, and it's like there's a part where you learn that the kid was like a weapon from the pre-war era.
Wait. So after after the 5-year gap, you go back before the 5-year gap?
No, after the 5-year gap, you go back to all the places you visited before, and it's
Okay.
like you gotta do that again. I knew this. Like, I knew the plot was gonna be sort of convoluted when Here's a very brief thing. Nier is one ending of the timeline
Of Drakengard?
Of Drakengard. And it's like,
Is Drakengard a good game?
I don't know. I've heard things about it.
How does Randy talk about it?
He thinks it's good,
Okay.
but he thinks Nier is good too.
That's Randy's opinion.
So, we're in the, fucking also Drakengard apparently has like the exact same kind of character as Kaine is. Kind of just like a brash woman who doesn't wear any clothes. Fucking Drakengard 3's main character is a brash woman who doesn't wear any clothes.
Okay. Also voiced by that voice actress?
I think so.
I know it's Laura Bailey.
Oh. It goes...
really? It's also...
It probably is. Fucking fine.
She's good at making that voice.
You go into this timeline, and this timeline is a bunch of goddamn nonsense. And it's just like, I don't care about any of it. Like,
Because you didn't play Drakengard.
You don't have to play Drakengard. Drakengard...
Then what's the point of it being tied to Drakengard?
That's a great question. Here's let me tie you in on exactly how this happens. Drakengard 3 happens, right? There's an ending of Drakengard 3 where you spawn into Earth at the very end of it, and you take the flower with you, and the flower creates the shades of the darkness. It's like the big bad thing in the whole series.
Why would you do that?
You do that to fight it, and then when it dies, it leaves the flower there.
Burn the flower. Oh.
But you also die eventually over time, and then the world
like normal people.
Yeah, like normal people.
Oh no!
I mean, like, you go into this world and then you die of old age. That's literally like the ending of the...
You made it sound like it was so bad, but that's just how things work.
This isn't your world! You spawn into a different reality. What if you spawn into a different reality one day and you were just like, well, I did what I had to do, and now I can't go back home ever? It'd be sad.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
What did I do, though?
You fought a monster.
I'm a fucking hero, then.
They don't fucking know that.
What?
I don't know, man. You brought the fucking genocide to the world.
Ben.
Well, what's up?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the world ends. There's an apocalypse because of the flower.
Okay.
And that creates all the shades.
I don't care.
I'm trying to explain this, but you're interrupting me. We go into the alternate timeline, and this line, the line that connects it, is like so paper thin. It's literally just like they transport to this world and then go here. But then there's like so much extra bullshit, and I don't care. I don't care.
Okay.
And I don't care
Is
about
that another ending to Drakengard? You made it seem like that was another ending to Drakengard.
There are several other endings to Drakengard.
Great.
This timeline is fucking gigantic. Anyways,
you have 3 games?
Yes.
Alright. Okay.
Yeah,
so...
Books also, there are books.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah, that makes
I lose so much interest in a game series when it's like, also books.
Make a game.
Make a game.
Yeah.
If it's
a good enough story to tell, just make a game.
I mean, I guess with some games, okay, I'd say Dragon Age and Mass Effect are exceptions because they're based on a character you make, and the books can't always have the character that you make in it. Like,
they'd just be a choose your own adventure.
It wouldn't be choose your own adventure because they're based on characters in the world. Mass Effect and Dragon Age are made for the choices you make, but those stories are set in stone.
Follow me here. You get a DLC where you just play as that character.
Yeah, I'd say a DLC would be nice.
Why couldn't they just do that?
I don't know. I think some of them just don't have a lot going for them.
Yeah.
But they explain a lot of shit that is crucial to the games. I don't want to sit down and read a book just to understand a game.
Right, no, it's garbage. What were you going to talk about before?
Oh, a game that has mediocre gameplay, but somewhat of a good story. In how it's actually my least favorite game of all time, and it's White Knight Chronicles. So, say you like mechs, yeah? You like mechs?
Yeah.
You like the whole knight aesthetic?
Yeah.
What if I told you you could drive a mech in the medieval times and it's knight-based aesthetic?
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm down. Is there player customization?
Absolutely.
Awesome. That's exactly what I wanted.
Do you want to feel absolutely disrespected as a player?
No, I don't think I ever wanted to do that.
Welcome to White Knight Chronicles, my friend. It's the worst thing ever. It's the worst thing ever, even if the premise is somewhat interesting. Don't do what White Knight Chronicles did if you ever introduce player customization.
It's so bizarre because it's like the story can be very good, but then the fact that your character is sitting in the background unimportant is like, well, this scene is fucking garbage now.
Let me say you're in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, right?
I'm in the Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Cool, nerd. Gotcha.
Fuck.
And you're playing as, like, say you're like a level 1 fighter or something. And you're like, oh, I'm starting this town, and I've found some other players. And it's like, and then the DM's like, but then you hear a rallying cry, and someone rides up on their noble steed, and it's Jordan, the Brave, a level 3 knight, and it's like, Jordan, you're the DM. Are you sure you want to have a character in the game? And it's like, of course, Jordan slaps the fighter. You take 5 points of damage without even having to roll.
Jordan, he's like, I did a great thing there. You didn't roll for that. I don't have to. I did. You didn't see it. He has it behind the barrier.
Right, and it's like, Jordan has led the party through a perilous goblin cave. And the fighter's like, I did the last hit on the boss. I'll get the loot first. And Jordan's like, no, I am the leader of the party. I should go first. It's an, you don't feel good. You don't feel good about your character and their standings in the game. So that being said, you don't feel good about yourself in the game. If there's a main character, you have to be the main character.
Yeah.
You can't. But there's also, if you make a character, they have to be the main character. Have I said this before on the podcast?
No, because you shouldn't have to.
About White Knight Chronicles and Star Ocean. Wait, is it Star Ocean or what is it? What is the game I'm playing?
Phantasy Star?
Phantasy Star on your Xbox 360?
I think it's Phantasy Star.
Phantasy Star. And how they're 2 games with alright combat. I actually don't really like White Knight Chronicles combat that much. It's functional.
Right.
Somewhat okay stories. Like, I mean, I'd say Phantasy Star is a bit better in regards. I don't know. It's, and with a main character, and with a character customization feature. The difference is, Phantasy Star separates it. White Knight Chronicles mashes them together. With Phantasy Star, you play as Ethan Waber, and you start the game, and it's just Ethan Waber's story.
Right.
Then, after a little while, you unlock, just Hunter mode. You can make a character and do missions normally.
Oh, huh.
There's no real story, it's just you're doing quests as a character.
Is it supposed to be multiplayer?
I think it's supposed to be multiplayer, but there's no online functionality anymore.
Right.
In White Knight Chronicles, you make your character, it's part of the story. However...
And there's a main character.
And there's a main character.
None of those words make sense together.
And it's fucking... The main character's name is Leonard. You can't be a cool knight, mech riding warrior named Leonard. Anyone else's name would work.
Yeah. So, there's 3 games I want to talk about in order to sort of end this off. Yeah, I almost forgot the third one. The first one is Armored Core. Armored Core is a game.
Boy.
The story, there's a barrier to entry on video games in which you have to cross that hurdle in order to be playing the game in the first place. And Armored Core it's in the stratosphere.
Yeah.
It's literally like playing Warhammer 40k. It's like, all right, you want to come play Warhammer 40k with me? How many pieces do you have? I don't have any pieces. Well, pieces are $100.
Oh god.
And it's like, all right, I'll be good. I remember my first time ever playing Armored Core. I booted up into the first with a friend, and I was like, how do I play? And they're like, well, there are 400 billion buttons, and they all do different things. And I was like, and I dropped my weapon that I had equipped, and then I was like, how do I pick that up? And then I dropped the other weapon I had equipped, so I was bare-knuckle boxing in a mech fighting game, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. How do I pick those up? You do not.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I started playing the actual game, and I went to edit my mech, and I literally felt like I needed my engineering degree in order to read the fucking mech customization screen. There were so many numbers.
Uh-huh.
And, when the gameplay is that poor, the story could be through the roof, and it wouldn't matter. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to play Armored Core again. My next one is Overwatch. Overwatch is a sort of weird one about it, because the story and the game feel like they're on different levels.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of games where it's like, in order to understand the story, you should look up the online database for it.
Yeah, but there's a difference between... With Overwatch is better than Destiny.
Yeah.
Because Overwatch is you don't really need to know the story.
There's so much character in the game.
Right.
Also, the game is fun.
Right. Destiny is fun to a degree.
Yeah. Overwatch keeps things fresh and exciting every time. And that's sort of the limit. Because when a game's gameplay is good, when a game's gameplay is great, but the story's either no good or non-existent, you can still play it.
Yeah.
That's still a game you'll play. When a game's gameplay is terrible, but the story is good, the story has to be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be, like, the best thing you've ever seen in your life in order for you to keep going with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Overwatch has, like, a bunch of character interactions, and it leads in with the base premise of the story.
Right.
And it consistently gives you, like, little bits and pieces in the game itself.
Yeah. But it's, with Destiny, it's like, access Bungie.com to read this card of lore you got.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna read that.
I don't care about that lore.
Mass Effect is a very story-heavy game, and even with the fact that there are books out, I don't need to read the books, because if I in Mass Effect 1, it's like there's a book talking about Anderson's experience with Saren, and it's like what happened in it. But in Mass Effect 1, if that topic will be brought up in the beginning of the game, and if I'm like, I'm interested in that, and I talk to Anderson about that, I'll get the straight answer, and he will explain what happened.
Right.
Basically just what happened in the book. And I won't need to read the book, making the book kind of useless.
It's literally just if you really wanted to hear more about this.
Right. Not so much with Dragon Age, I don't think. I think there is more that the game just doesn't explain.
Yeah, there seems like a lot to go over consistently.
Yeah.
When your game, and there's also a difference between like wanting to know more about the story versus being told to look up more about the story.
Right.
Overwatch doesn't even like tell you that there are comics online, does it?
No.
So you literally, if you're like scrolling,
it might advertise like Blizzard.com or something, but
right?
that's.
But I mean, like if you're already there, but like seeing in a game to go to a website to learn more about this is like you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. As my sort of final topic about this,
What's the third game?
this is my third one.
Okay.
Platinum games.
Oh.
Because there's no other game that so perfectly meshes these things together
Absolutely.
than a Platinum game.
Sometimes.
Most times.
Mm.
Alright, so there.
Careful.
I want you to picture yourself. You're at the final boss of a Platinum game.
It's very good. It's very
and
satisfying.
You clash with them, and you mash the A button or the B button, or you wiggle the Wii remotes or whatever the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
And you knock them out, and you can feel your own fist going with the character's fist in perfect unison. Because the gameplay and the story come together because Platinum games are just 100% on gameplay.
Yeah. But the story keeps up.
Yeah.
Wonderful 101 is one of my favorite games for the Wii U because the gameplay is so interesting. Just the fact that you're controlling one thing, but it's surrounded by so many things and you influence all this stuff.
Right.
And the story's a pretty cheesy action type thing, but it's all good.
Yeah.
And it can get pretty serious at times, and it's I don't think there was ever a point in the game where I was like, all right, hurry it up with the story.
Yeah.
Or gameplay's getting a bit thin, or something like that. Sometimes it can get hard, but that's Platinum for you.
Yeah. The thing about Platinum games is that they keep things so consistent, and that while the story matters, the cutscenes never drag on too long, or it never impedes the gameplay.
Right.
And when it does impede the gameplay, there are actual physical things you can feel to it.
Yeah.
Like Metal Gear Rising. When you go into Jack the Ripper mode, and the entire fight changes because of that, it's like, oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm actually feeling this. And this is sort of the final thing.
Music helps.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's all the experience. There's a big debate about story or gameplay, which one is more important.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you are playing video games for the story every time, and you really think a game without a story is fine, that's good for you. That's fine. It's great. Everybody's allowed to enjoy things differently. But for me, personally, you can have, the best game in the world, and then non-existent story, and I'll still be playing that game.
Yeah.
it's tough when a game has literally zero story, because then it's hard to find the motivation to keep going with it.
Right.
But if a game has great gameplay, it's a good game.
I will go back, and I'm sorry, I will go back once again to Mass Effect. Because I always do.
Right.
They offer... the difficulty... They offer peaceful mode, and the tag is... It's not peaceful mode, but it's like... I think it's like tagged narrative.
Right.
If it's like, if you're interested in the story more than the gameplay, gameplay's very easy, and you can get to the story. Or there's Insanity, and it's the hardest challenge you can get, but you can still experience the story if you want. You
Right.
just have a challenging gameplay and also have an interesting story. I obviously did Insanity as much as I could in Mass Effect 2 and 3, and I think I tried it in 1, but it's difficult. 1 is difficult. There's not much of a learning curve, I'll say, in 1. Like, it's a very stilted game.
It just spikes.
I'm not going to say spikes, it's just... With Mass Effect 2 and 3, you can get into emotion.
Right.
Like, you can kind of, like, be fluid. Like, you can do the same approaches or something like that. With Mass Effect 1, it's like... Combat is like a halt. It's like you come to a standstill when you're in gameplay. And it's not bad, per se. It's just there's a lot of stuff going on. You have so much to take in. Like, you have a bunch of powers to access. You have your squad mates' powers to access. Your weapons, their weapons. It's very different. Like, Mass Effect 2 showed a very... It wasn't as complex. What's the word? It was very simplified.
Right.
But not simplified to the point where it's just like, oh, generic third-person shooter. There was still strategy to it.
Right.
It was just more... It was like the whole world in Mass Effect took a 2-year jump, and that's what it did. And how every bit of tech got better, got faster, biotics got more strong for humanity and stuff. Like, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
It's the same with Dragon Age. Like, strangely got slower in Dragon Age Inquisition. Dragon Age 2 had such quick gameplay, it was good. Somehow I kept veering it back into Mass Effect.
I'm trying to think of the best story and the worst gameplay I've ever played. I got a lot of options for no gameplay. Like, Gone Home is the big poster child of this debate.
Yeah, but...
Is Gone Home a game? Yes.
Yeah.
It's a video game.
I think you can't bring those games up because they're too easy of targets to say no gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta think bad gameplay.
Yeah, that's the question. Because, I mean, that's an experience I would have again. Like, I would play Gone Home again.
Yeah.
But...
Gameplay and story form to make an experience. If the experience is good, then it doesn't matter whether either was bad.
But so often it's... If a game has bad gameplay, it taints the story.
But if there's little to no story, if there's just the bare minimum of a story, that's fine. If there's a bad story,
right.
You get mad at the game.
Right. I've talked about this before. Killzone 2, the worst thing you can do for a game is play it on the hardest difficulty.
Right.
Because unless you've played it before, like, I'm never going to... Killzone 2, the ending of Killzone 2, I have the one dude's... like, he would go down and be like, Sev, help! And it was like, I will never forget running over to him, pressing circle and getting him up, and then running the fuck away like, God damn it, get the fuck up!
Right. But I think that shows how bad that game really is. Because I don't like it. I don't like gameplay like that.
The question is, had I played it on an easier difficulty and they hadn't gone down a
It
lot?
looks boring as shit.
I mean, that's a first-person shooter for you.
Yeah, I know. And that's the problem. But also, side thing, I just remembered, Call of Duty is doing World War I
Was it World War One or two?
Who cares? It's the same fucking war again.
Yeah.
Battlefield 1 is going to be Battlefield 2 when it's Battlefield on World War 2 and it's going to be the same game. It doesn't matter. I'm thinking at that point, Battlefield and Call of Duty should just be Call of Battlefield.
Yes.
It doesn't, like, there's no point for them to be different.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that it causes friction between fans.
Yeah, these, they feel like the exact same game. But, it's like the same way with the new Battlefront game. It's like, oh, it's new Battlefront. There's new things to do in new games and everything. And it's like, but it's going to be the same game with just different maps. What's changing about this game mechanically that's going to feel that different? And that's, I was really interested in, I was tempted to pick up Advanced Warfare because some of the things just, or Infinite Warfare? Call of Duty Infinite?
I think it's Infinite Warfare. I don't know.
One of those, I was tempted to pick it up because it looks really good, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I got Titanfall. I still have Titanfall if I want
You
that.
just have Titanfall 1?
I just have Titanfall 1.
You're not going to get Titanfall 2?
Maybe when it's cheap. Same
Yeah.
thing I do with Titanfall 1. Titanfall 2 has like a story mode, which like adds on to its value as a game.
Boy is Titan.
But like, I don't care that much. And that's a sort of weird one. There's so many different facets to this gameplay versus story debate that I played Titanfall 1 entirely because the gameplay was good. And they were like, Titanfall 2 has a story mode. You can play the story finally. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. I don't really care, though, because the gameplay in Titanfall 1 was so solid.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm trying to think of, like, the best story in the worst game, and I just don't have anything.
You know, the best thing you can do is buy a game because you're excited for the gameplay and the story. And that's why I bought Halo 5.
Right.
Because Halo 4's gameplay and Halo 4's story were very good. I
Yeah.
loved them both. And I saw Halo 5's story trailer, and that got me excited. And then I saw Halo 5's gameplay trailer, and that also got me excited.
It was like both parts of this really intrigued you.
You gotta want both.
Yeah.
Like, if I see, Nier Automata, and I see its gameplay, and I'm like, what? What is this gameplay? I don't care for it at all. Look up a girl's skirt, whatever.
Get a trophy.
I mean, that's fun. That's a fun trophy to make. But if I'm like, oh, the story looks amazing. Like, I can't wait to experience such a well-crafted story and gameplay that I hate.
Of course. That's sort of always the thing. I'm not against the idea of putting the peaceful mode into video games, where you just like, or there's no combat and you just watch the story unfold.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's...
At that point in time, just watch a Let's Play.
Yeah, it's hard for me to see the intrinsic value in that.
Yeah.
Because the idea of playing the game is so ingrained into me. But I'm not like a good person to ask about that, considering I consistently play games on hard mode.
Yeah.
Because I'm addicted to the challenge.
Yeah. Like, oh my god. Do you think the fact that you played Dust on the hardest difficulty you could, and you got so mad so many times.
I got real mad at that game.
Do you think it lessened your opinion of the story?
No, actually. I think, no, that's a bad example. Dust, I feel like the story in Dust was sort of weird in the first place. It never managed to find the tone that it was trying to get to.
Oh, wait a second. I just remember the weird twist in Dust, and I hate it.
The fact that you're the fusion of two people.
Spoilers for Dust.
Spoilers for Dust and Elysian Trail. I
Why
actually
not just
really
be a
like that
person?
twist.
Why not just be a person?
Because then that, I mean, like, that
What?
lowers the twist.
There's no twist. You're just a person. You're just
I
a
know,
man.
that's the problem.
What's the point?
You're disproving your own thing.
I don't like twists.
I think you should just be a guy who found a sword. But when there's no twist, then there's no
You have no
spoiler.
ties to the world.
What does it matter? You
have
just
no
hit people
emotional
with a
connections.
sword. Yeah, okay.
Your mystery state. Your history is a mystery, and it stays a mystery.
That's the whole... God, that'd be the worst. Can you imagine?
Your history stays a mystery.
Yeah,
You
you're
never
like-
find out why you're that.
You're like, I don't know who I am, and you beat the whole game and you never get any answers, and you're like, you fucking serious? It's like playing Shadow the Hedgehog.
I was gonna say Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow
It's
the
like,
Hedgehog.
who am I? And then at the end, it's like, so So, like...
This game had 6 endings?
Who am I?
Sorry, this game had 360 endings.
Don't worry. And, like, at the end, Dr. Robotnik was like, don't worry, Shadow. All those endings didn't even matter. You're not even an android. Could you imagine if the Shadow Android ending was canon, where he wasn't actually an android, and he, like, led this huge rebellion, and it's like, oh, I cut myself...
I'm bleeding.
I'm bleed... Omega. Honestly, I didn't know Omega. I didn't...
Synthetic robot blood. It's oil.
It's oil, see? Omega just like... as if he'd actually kill Shadow. Omega's a nice guy. Omega in the canon, in the comic book canon, is actually just Gamma.
Didn't he kill Gamma?
He killed Gamma.
And then got the bird or whatever?
He killed Gamma, and then Gamma was like transmitting code.
Oh yeah, he put Gamma's heart.
He put his heart into Omega, and Omega is like, oh. Alright.
Shit, humanity.
Shit, thanks, Gamma. Oh, Gamma. Ah, shit, dude.
Damn it.
And I got mad. I got mad when I found that out, because, like, just make Gamma a character. Gamma doesn't have to die.
No, Gamma has to die. Is that what happens at the end of
He kills
Adventure?
himself. He lets himself die.
God.
Like, he's trying to...
Oh, yeah.
He's, like, trying to initiate self-repairs or something, and then he sees that his... Like, one of the bird that was in his brother, like, leaves, and he's like, oh, shit. I'm a bird. And then he lets himself collapse and blow up, and sets his bird free.
God, what a fucked up thing to happen in that game.
What was Sonic Adventure doing?
What was happening in that game? They were like, alright, we got Sonic, and he goes through the world. What else is in the story? Tails?
No, it's like normal Sonic story. That's fine. He's a fun, floaty guy. Nothing really changes with his story. Tails, gotta be like Sonic.
Gotta grow up.
By the end, I realized I don't have to be like Sonic. I have to be my own person.
Amy, you gotta chase Sonic.
Gotta chase Sonic, but you realize you're more than just your love for Sonic.
And you're strong on your own.
Yeah.
Knuckles?
Be alone. That's his song.
There's 6, right?
Yeah.
Big?
Just...
have a good time. Have a
fun time with your friends. It might not last forever.
Gamma?
Kill
Commit,
yourself.
fratricide.
To save... for the betterment of others.
And kill yourself.
It's so strange.
Realize you're better as a bird who lives inside of you and not as yourself.
It's the ultimate level of morality. It's no longer thinking of yourself. It's thinking of what you have deemed as good.
Yeah.
And ultimately making the sacrifice for good. I'm fascinated with Sonic Adventure DX. It's just... How?
It's nonsensical.
How do they start that point in time?
People, I want to be a fly on the wall in that room. That's another thing. I want to be the fly on the wall when they were like talking about the Gamma storyline.
Like, he was there because they didn't want to give Sonic a gun.
Right, of course.
But they wanted to give people a gun. But
they wanted
in the
to
end,
put a gun in the game.
But in the end,
they realized
they gave
put the gun down.
They gave us so much more.
The gun had a heart.
I don't know why people think Sonic Adventure DX is a bad game. I think it's hilarious. I think they put a fishing game, you beat the fishing game, and then you get the saddest storyline in any Sonic game.
This is a fun one. This is a good example. A lot of Sonic games are a good example of a good story but terrible gameplay.
Yeah.
You ever sit down and play Sonic Adventure 1?
Sonic Adventure 1. I love Sonic Adventure 1. Yeah, dude. I love it.
Like playing big storyline? You liked racing twice? 2 different characters who just race?
You saw how much I played Sonic Adventure. I played it a lot.
Blanked out on it.
I blanked out on it too. But, like, I have so much time on it. Because I don't think we had Sonic Adventure 2. No, we did, but I do have
alright. Do you remember this one? This is a very vivid memory I have. 2 very vivid memories. Our mother worked in a language place growing up, and it was very prestigious. I'm not going to give them any shout-outs.
Do they even exist anymore?
I hope not. That's dark.
That's very dark. A lot of people would lose their jobs if that stopped existing.
I hope things are good for most of those
They're also
people.
teaching languages, like breaking down barriers.
Fuck that, dude. That's the rich people talking. They only serve rich people.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm getting the guillotine ready. But speaking of rich people, I remember going over to this one person's house, and it was like very fancy. And there was like a huge staircase.
I know what you're talking about.
And we played Sonic Adventure 1.
Sonic Adventure. No, we played Sonic Adventure 2.
Was it? No, because I remember Chaos.
He had 2. You might have remembered Chaos.
This is a different house.
Was it M and I? M and E, I mean?
No. This is a different people.
Oh!
I'm thinking of a different people entirely.
Because I remember we went over to M&E's house, and they had Sonic Adventure 2.
They did. They had a lot of games. They had
Majora's Mask.
They had Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, that was weird.
I'm thinking of a different house.
You never let me hang around there, though.
Yeah. I was like a 6-year-old.
I was not 3 at that point in time.
I was a young child. As a shout out, other older siblings know what I'm talking about with this one.
All right.
When you won't let your younger sibling hang around because you're trying to be cool to the person who is 3 years older than you are.
Yeah.
Even though, fucking not a great person by any stretch of the word. And I'm looking back on it, and I was just clearly being annoying to this person. This is one of the things you realize as an older sibling.
But I think that guy was good.
Yeah, he was better than your guy.
Definitely. Absolutely. I always get the short end of the stick. The ones that you get are, the nicest of the family.
But it's here's the weird thing about it. How, I want to say I was 12. When that
I
stuff
think
was
you were
going on.
10.
I was 10, sure.
Or I think Isabel had yet to be born.
Right.
I think you were 9.
I might have been 9.
You were you were pushing the double digits.
Right. You were 6?
I was 6 or 7 at that point in time.
But that would put the other person at 12 years old.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to be that older, cool person. And in order to be that older, cool person...
hats off to that 12-year-old...
For putting up with me?
For putting up... That's amazing!
Yeah.
I can't imagine a 9-year-old of any capacity. I can't imagine a 12-year-old of any capacity putting up with a 9-year-old.
Actually, looking back on it now...
But that being said, you did with me.
Right. No, you're exactly right.
I think you hated me at some point in our childhood.
Looking back on it now, all of those ages are the exact same.
Yeah?
There's no difference between a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Hold on a second.
Absolutely not.
Hold on a minute.
No, 12-year-olds are worse.
No. Oh, well, I mean...
Because 12-year-olds know what racism is.
Oh.
And then you can punch them.
No.
Put the fists down.
I'd punch a small kid if they were a racist.
Racist? That's affirmative action.
I guess. That's fine.
Would you guillotine a 12-year-old if they had $4 billion?
Oh my god, dude.
This is the real class war.
I would try to raise him. What would he be doing on his own?
Stealing this child?
It's better than killing him. I would steal him, try to raise him to be a better person.
Like the Superman. Like a rich Superman.
I don't like Superman as a character, so...
That's fine.
I mean...
I didn't, there's a lot to Superman's character.
We're not
getting
talking
way off topic.
about Superman's goddamn character.
Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Adventure 2 is a good one. I really like the story of Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
But the fucking gameplay is horrible.
And then it has that goat punch of a sad story in it.
Yeah. But it's the story... Alright, that's my... story's great, gameplay's terrible. Sonic Adventure 2.
2/3 of it are terrible.
That's a lot. That's the majority of the game.
Yeah, that's the majority of the game.
What are we at time-wise?
Oh, we haven't even broken an hour.
Oh, what time are we at?
48.
Alright, cool.
I'll break it in 49 soon.
Do you have something to say?
Sonic games do that. They have sad stories. Like Sonic Fighters.
Emerald as the robot.
Emerald is the robot, and it's like he makes an impact on every single character's story, and he just starts learning. He learns all this stuff,
and then he has to die.
And then he has to die.
Sonic Unleashed has you saying goodbye to Chip at the end of the game, right?
You work with Chip, and it's like Chip is like, I have to go.
He's the guardian of the Silver World, right?
But I'll always be with you, Sonic. Like, he awakens every time the other one awakens. Like, the evil, he's like Gaia and Stark Gaia. Even Sonic 06.
Yeah.
Sonic 06 has an overall sad tone to it. Even
Sonic
at the end,
dies.
Not even that.
There's an apocalypse. It's like the world goes to ruins.
Silver and Blaze go back in time to save the world and their friends. They go back in time to set their timeline right before
by making it so they don't exist.
Right, but it doesn't work with Silver. Silver also ceases to exist, and then but
Blaze sacrifices herself.
Blaze sacrifices herself, so she fades away from existence. I think she fades herself into a different dimension just to keep Iblis contained.
Of course.
And then Silver, he fights Iblis, knowing full well that the future he creates, he might not be a part of. And then Sonic and Elise reset time.
Right. So they never meet.
It's just Sonic is just a passing wind in the festival she's hosting, and then that's the end of Sonic 06. Like, it never happened. Which, I mean, some people would like it never have happened. But that is sad.
That's really sad.
That is, like, Shadow's fine. Shadow's...
I'm not sure what happened. Mephiles is there?
Mephiles. Shadow just is cool in general at the end.
Sick, dude.
Like,
Shadow shows up on a motorcycle with guns on it.
That's his thing.
That's cool.
His thing. He just is cool in the game. Like, he beats up
That's his
Silver.
song, too.
What is it?
All Hail Shadow?
Oh, yeah, that's his song in Sonic 06.
I don't even... Like, Endless... What's...
Dreams of Absolution.
Dreams of Absolution is Silver's, right?
Right.
I don't remember what
His
Sonic
world
is.
is Sonic.
Oh, is it his world?
It's the main theme of Sonic the Hedgehog, so I'd imagine it'd be Sonic's theme. But... Sonic... Fuck, dude. There's so many interesting components in Sonic games that if you take them apart, there's some interesting story points.
I was just about to say, like, it's weird how Mario and Sonic both broke into the 3D world, and, like, nothing sad ever happens in, like, the Mario games. But that's wrong!
It is wrong.
Galaxy's ending?
Galaxy's ending, everything is reset.
All the Lumas!
Every single Luma, that's their... Like, you realize the sad truth of every Luma in their existence is to become... Stars or planets.
They, like...
Slings. Or sling stars.
They blink out into this.
Yeah.
Like, but that's their job, and that's sort of... It's a metaphor for life as a whole.
They're baby primordial masses that form into whatever they are needed of. It's like being an adult.
There's the whole scene where Rosalina's there, and she's like, you're watching all the Lumas say goodbye to you as they, like, go into the black hole, and it's like...
And then you see your own Luma that was in your hat.
Yeah. And there's, like, quick question, what the fuck? The fuck was that?
Super Mario Sunshine could have taken a very sad turn.
When Flood dies.
And just have Flood die. Had Flood just been like, was I of assistance, and like just fell apart.
God.
If Flood just fell apart in Mario's hand and that was it.
They bring it back, but it's still like, that's such a gut punch of a scene.
That would be a gut punch of a scene.
There's, real quick, that's Mario Galaxy's ending is why I didn't really get into Mario Galaxy 2. Like, I really wanted
because Mario Galaxy
to
2
feel
is
it
just,
and everything. It's just more.
Right.
But it doesn't have the same story. The overworld is way worse.
Luigi's Mansion has one of my favorite endings in the game because Luigi saves Mario and he just starts laughing. Like, Mario gets kind of stuck in the machine and, like, he's, like, kind of dazed and, like, the vent is around his neck. And Luigi just starts laughing and then he starts crying.
Oh, God.
Like, he's crying because he's so happy to see Mario, and I'm like, holy shit. That's some real emotion right there.
It's... Oh, man. The Paper Mario games have it, too.
Oh, absolutely.
We gotta play more Super Paper Mario. I gotta play Super Paper Mario again.
You gotta play Thousand Year Door.
Yeah,
Thousand Year Door is good.
And the ending of Super Paper Mario is, like, so great. But, yeah, man, I don't think about it a lot. But there's, like... some really intense stuff in these games.
Sonic and Mario have that in common. A lot of their story elements just get ignored.
Yeah.
Like, Mario is, like, heralded as this great platforming game. But he has some good story moments. But not a lot of them are really recognized. They're kind of, like, looked over for the overall greatness of the game. Sonic, on the other hand, it's like... Oh, Sonic has some mediocre games, and not a lot of them are good. But, like, a lot of the story in a lot of them are just... They're good, and the characters are well written, somewhat. And people... And that's the thing. A game with a good story will always be overlooked if it has mediocre or even good gameplay. If
And
it's a simple story,
that
it'll
is
get looked over.
part of the thing too. Is that these stories are great and everything, but a lot of what makes them very good is that they sort of come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
The story is very traditional up until this point, and then it hits you with a bunch of emotions all of a sudden. And it's like when you're going at a sort of plateau of emotions, any shift is very noticeable.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it goes from 0 to 50. Other games vary from like 200 to negative 300 to 400 to 500.
Yeah.
So a game that goes from 100 to 50 or 0 to 50 isn't that much, but if you were at 0 the whole other time, that's a huge jump.
I'll give it this. Majora's Mask. No, I'm saying something positive about it. I know, crazy.
I'm going
right?
for a gun.
I'm not William. I know what kind of impact it's had on people because I watched someone break down the story of Majora's Mask and how it made them cry at one moment in the game. It wasn't like they were a kid and then at one point in time, like, the Goron section of the game resonated with them with the fact that it, like, they were dealing with that type of loss at that point in time. Because
It's a different stage of loss.
every single stage of loss, like, it's the stages of grief, and it's ingenious, like, what they've done with Majora's Mask. And gameplay, I mean, I guess gameplay can be interesting enough to some people.
That's a decent example of good story, bad gameplay.
No, that's the thing, like, everyone has to agree that it's bad gameplay.
No.
I think it's bad gameplay.
I mean, that's the...
But that also took me out of the story.
If...
Like, I knew what the story was before coming to... I don't think at any point in my life that Majora's Mask could ever make me cry.
Because of the... and that's the thing to it. That, for as much debate as there is, as... Like, a game can have the greatest story in the world, but if the gameplay is terrible, you're not going to feel it as much.
Right. I wonder how many people cried when Shadow died at the end of Sonic Adventure 2. Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry.
You think you would have had you liked Shadow that much when you watched him die?
God, did we get there when we were that young?
I think we did. Maybe when we got the Wii.
I think it was like, I think it was sad, but the conditions of it were just sort of incorrect, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of tools you can use to make people cry and things. And Shadows is just sort of like a solid farewell.
Yeah.
Like, he accomplishes everything he needs to and then says goodbye.
Yeah, it's worse when it's like, this isn't an ending. This shouldn't have been your ending.
The characters all see him off. They say sayonara, and then he fucking shows up in every other game.
Oh, hey, Shadow, how's it going?
Shadow's here.
Remember when you died? No.
I'm better now. That's one of my favorite Sonic panels.
He got better now.
Yeah, but he's better now.
Didn't he die? With Infamous 2, either of the endings is like, that shouldn't have been the ending for those characters.
Yeah.
With...
What other sad thing happens in... Oh, Infamous 2. I was thinking Infamous Second Son.
No. With Mass Effect 3, if you screw up so much in Mass Effect 3, there's so many characters, it's like, this shouldn't have been your ending.
Yeah.
Like with Ashley or Caden, if you have to shoot them on the Citadel, it's like, that shouldn't have been your ending. If you let Jack get taken by Cerberus, that should not have been your ending. If you screw up the Quarian and Geth mission and Tali commit suicide, that shouldn't have been her ending.
There's another thing, even if it is like, even if the ending is perfectly good, I'm talking about the One Piece, the goodbye to the Going Merry, merry-go. It's like, it's by all means like a perfect way to go out,
right?
But the way you see it resonate with all the other characters really tears it down.
Mm-hmm.
In Sonic Adventure Battle 2, there's like a sort of sad thing. It's like everybody's generally sort of sad, but then it's just like, oh man, we're looking at space and we're like thinking about different things.
Yeah. It was a catharsis.
Yeah. If there was a scene where like all the characters were like crying, I think I easily could have been crying about it.
But at that point in time, it's... Do you think Shadow made enough of an impact on all of them?
No, absolutely
to be crying? Knuckles would not have been crying.
No, Knuckles like, who the fuck was that?
Tails, I don't think he would have been crying.
Amy would have been crying. She was like, Sonic is dead.
And Sonic's like, this is perfect. Sonic would be like, I need to work on this right now.
I gotta go.
Tails, I'm done talking to you for a little while. Like, find me.
Like, I'm gonna use burner cell phones.
Sonic's too nice to do that. But he probably would have pranked her
Gotcha.
at the funeral. Tails like, Tails, I need you to do something real nice for me, okay?
Tails, do you have several $1,000s? I just did the president a solid. He should pay for this.
Really gussy it up. I don't want one of those natural deaths. You don't bury me in the backyard, okay?
Can you make a body double to put in an open casket?
Well, I got Shadow. Just make it Shadow's
Wait, where'd he
funeral.
go?
Oh, shit. I got Metal Sonic. Oh, wait, where'd he go?
Fuck.
Eggman's crying.
Eggman is sad.
My creation.
What were we talking about?
We're talking about, like, endings that should have been
like,
the ending.
When you are actually... things that actually make you sad.
Yeah.
There's, like, definitely a trick to it.
Oh, wait. Speaking of, like, that shouldn't have been your ending, Majora's Mask is filled with that. The butler's son in the first forest, you meet him, and he was, like, running away from home, and it's like, that shouldn't have been your ending.
Oh, yeah, he dies in the woods.
He dies in the woods. Darunia, the hero of the Gorons, he died before he could save his people. That shouldn't have been his ending. Link has to fulfill it. Mikau, hero of the Zoras, couldn't be there to watch the love of his life give birth to his children or even save any of them.
God.
Like, he left his home trying to save his children. I don't know if they're his children, but...
Did you know you can take fall damage in Majora's Mask?
You can take fall damage in any Zelda game.
I didn't know this until I watched some speedrunner do, like, a trick where he, like, jumped out of the water as the fish dude and, like, hit the water wrong and died to fall damage.
Well, you get to die from fall damage into the water? I mean,
there's, like, specific spots in the water where you're not actually, like, swimming or something. I don't remember what it was.
Huh.
But, he hit it and he had, like, half a heart and he died. And it was just, like, gross. But, yeah. That's sort of, like, the saddest way to go is to have characters, number one, acknowledge it, and number two, have it not be the ending that character deserved.
Like, it's the biggest... It's one of the saddest things you can do. Because there's no way to give them a proper end unless someone carries on in their stead.
Right.
Like with Hughes in Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, yeah.
Like, his daughter's growing up, he's loving his life, and then he gets gutted.
Just straight murdered.
Like, he's the one that deserved it the least, and then he just dies.
Yeah, he had the most going for him and died.
Right.
Full Metal Alchemist is a great one, though.
Full Metal Alchemist is great.
I feel like I could talk a whole podcast on Full Metal Alchemist. It's way easier to make you sad in an anime than it is in a video game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but you can have it, like, set a lot longer.
Do you think Jiraiya was one of those endings? Like, because he could have been there for Naruto so much longer.
That's definitely a thing about it. It's just Naruto keeps fucking losing people consistently. Yeah. He's just like...
Could you imagine if he lost his son? Could you imagine how awful that would be?
The worst thing in the world.
Like, if he was like, I couldn't see my son off on this mission, and then he died.
Oh, God.
That would be the... Could you imagine if they did that?
What if that was how Boruto ended?
Oh, my God. Naruto would be heartbroken.
Yeah. Jesus.
That's definitely a different pill to swallow when a parent dies, but when a child dies instead of the parent, that's a different thing entirely.
Like fucking Last of Us sets the tone for the entire goddamn game.
Parents cannot recover from the death of a child. Children, I'd say, I'm not the child of a dead parent. I hope I'm never that. Knock on wood. Right.
Is that wood? Knock on wood.
Okay. God, now I'm scared. But I think children at some capacity get over it.
It's when it happens in a video game or a movie or as a literary motivation, literary element, it's something for them to move past.
Right.
When a parent loses a child, it's different. It's a weight on them.
It's a weight on them that they can never really get rid of.
Yeah. And in the case of Joel and Last of Us, fucking ruins him.
It fucking ruins him. And it
ruins The Last of Us also.
Oh no.
Yeah, ending of Last of Us is fucking garbage, dude.
Yeah.
Like the story was at 100 and then it was at negative 100.
I think it would have been.
That's a story that would have really benefited from having a choose your own ending.
Yeah, but at that point in time, it would have been like, I would feel 100 times worse for Joel if after all that, and he like found another daughter in Ellie, and then
lost her too.
Ellie died. He would be done. He would be like sitting in like the waiting room of that hospital, that rundown hospital, and he would just kill himself.
Yeah,
he would just kill himself right there. That would be, oh my god, that'd be the worst.
There is but I mean, I would have felt like really sad, but I would have felt like I took an emotional adventure.
But by the end of Last of Us, you're like, oh wait, I've been helping the bad guy.
I was fucking mad. Instead, like, there's definitely something to be like, and that's like an interesting twist. There's actually a very interesting twist to realize you were the bad guy the whole time. But like, fucking,
it wasn't like you were the bad guy the whole time. You decided to become the bad guy at the end.
At the very end, you were like, oh, this is the path I'm gonna take, and I wouldn't have taken that path.
Yeah, but at the same time, would Joel have taken that path?
I don't care about him. He's a video game man. I'm not a video game man.
Think about it from a story.
I'm a real man.
I know you are.
I got real hands.
Right.
To play video games with.
I know.
I'm a real man who wasted fucking several hours of his real man life
you were
playing
not,
a video game.
You were not a man then.
I was a real boy.
You were a real
playing
boy.
a real boy life video
You're
game.
so much of a real boy right now.
I spent a lot of my real boy hours playing that game.
My real boy hands help destroy the human race.
That's the title of this episode, is Real Boy Hours.
Real boy hours.
Real boy hours. You know what to do. Smash that
mother
friggin' life button.
Or real boy hands.
Real boy hands.
Real boy hands, real boy hours.
Real boy hands, real boy hours. We gotta end this episode.
But hold on, Joel as a character, he would not have made the choice to just sit back and let that happen.
Here's the ending I wanted. I wanted
Joel to try and then lose.
No, absolutely not. I would have felt even worse.
Please don't take my daughter and then get shot in the head.
I wanted Ellie to be awake,
wake up and tell him,
and say, "This is my choice.
Yeah,
this is what I have to do." And I know that that's probably gonna happen in Last of Us 2.
No. Think of the start of it.
What?
Like, I think Joel's dead.
What?
Did you see the trailer?
No, I didn't watch it.
What?
I'm not, because what about this makes you think I would be at all interested in Last of Us 2?
No, okay. I say Joel is dead. I don't mean that he's actually dead. I'm just, I think it's implied because it's just Ellie playing the guitar, like the guitar that Joel taught her how to play.
All right.
Okay. That Crash Bandicoot taught her how to play because it's Naughty Dog.
Right. Nathan Drake is there.
Nathan Drake is
He's
there.
playing the guitar.
Teaching her how to play
the new dad.
Crash Bandicoot.
After we took her away from the man who doomed the human race to...
Right, of course. No, but... Nathan Drake's like, Joel, you gotta chill out. That's my daughter now.
Did you doom humanity to zombie apocalypse? Yeah, I did do that, but she's my daughter. Absolutely not. You don't get that anymore.
I think Last of Us takes place in a universe where Nathan Drake dies.
Ooh, game theory.
Because Nathan Drake would not have let that happen.
Nathan Drake would have stopped all the zombies by himself.
Have you seen how good he is?
Nathan Drake is fucking awesome. Nathan Drake could fucking stop the zombie
If he had Sully and Elena by his side, that'd be it. He'd be done. He'd find the artifact that's causing the spores, and bing, bing, bada, bing, bada, boom.
I gotta play Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 4 is so fucking good. It's so good. Because it's like, this is the ending you deserve.
Spoilers?
You don't know. You absolutely don't know.
I know I don't know, because I wanted to make a comment, but I realized I didn't know because I haven't played Uncharted 4. We gotta end the episode before we talk about Uncharted 4 anymore, because I'm gonna...
I love it. I love it
steal it
so
from
much.
your house right now.
You can take it home if you
I
want.
will.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. What was I about to say?
I don't even remember. Something about Ellie and the guitar.
Ellie and the guitar. Oh, right. And Joel isn't actually seen in the trailer at all. It's just like him. It's like a door opening, and then him like talking to Ellie, and Ellie's like not even like registering he's there. But Joel's like, so what are you gonna do? And she's like, I'm gonna make him pay, implying that someone killed Joel.
Oh yeah, okay, sure.
And that Joel is just a figment of Ellie's imagination.
Oh, he's a ghost.
Because the last of Joel.
Oh, she's gonna make Joel pay.
I don't think so.
Because she knows he doomed the human
Like,
race.
if she knew that's what happened, like, she wasn't conscious.
She's gotta know that.
No, she was never conscious when they made it to the Fireflies.
There's no way Last of Us 2, the entirety of Last of Us 2 is gonna go down and she's not gonna learn.
Oh, she's definitely gonna learn. Like, I think it's gonna be like a writing from Joel, and then she's just gonna be fucking pissed.
She's gonna kill him.
Joel's already dead at that point.
No.
I don't know. Joel was an old man by the time Ellie was a kid.
Yeah,
Like,
she was like 14 and he was in his late 60s.
No, he was in his, like, mid-50s.
Okay.
I'd say, Last of Us takes place 20 years after Joel loses his daughter. 20 years? I'd say Joel is a young single man when Last of Us starts.
Sure.
And so I'm going to give him mid-30s.
I'd say mid-30s is probably reasonable.
He looks like a mid-30s type of guy. Like,
I'd say mid-late 30s.
no gray in his hair. He looks pretty good. I don't know how humans age.
His daughter, he had her. All right, sure. He had his daughter when he was like 20 something. His wife left him. His wife died.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, he found a new wife in Ellie.
Samurai Jack.
Oh no. Like, oh. We can talk about that now.
No, we can't. Turn the episode off.
But then 20 years later, he still has the watch that she gave him, showing he hasn't moved on at all.
Time stops.
And then he takes his watch off when Ellie gets around.
Ellie shows up and he's like, "Don't need this anymore."
No, but he keeps the watch
equivalent
on.
of taking your wedding ring off when you see a pretty lady.
He also does that when he sees Ellie.
He takes his watch off and he's like, "Looking for a new daughter."
He takes his watch off, but also slides the wedding ring off his finger. And I was like, hold on a second.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
The one girl who is also there, I don't even remember her name.
Tess.
Like, the fuck?
I'm doing it for you.
He's got like a bunch of different bands on his arm and on his
Like,
fingers.
wasn't just like Metallica? A new band. Joel is ready to shed any and all commitments he has ever had.
There's a funny bit. This is in general a funny bit. That it's just like a guy's like sitting on a train car or whatever, and he like looks over and there's like attractive looking woman, and he takes his wedding ring off and he like looks at her. She looks back and she's like, and then he's taking like more rings off of his other fingers, and then she's like looking around like confused, and he's got like an amassment of jewelry like stacking up on his table, and she's just. He's taking like his wallet out of his pocket and just like taking his shirt off, and it's.
Oh no!
I don't know. There's probably a funny place to stop that bit. Maybe it's the pile of jewelry. I think it's funny if he starts taking other things off too. Takes gold teeth out of his mouth.
Oh god, then that's just like bad. That's just like hurt comedy. Like he's just wrenching.
No, I don't think he wrenches it out. There's
he just slides off his grill.
Yeah, he just. Yeah, that's funny. That's a funny one.
But it's like a huge grill. Like it's something that shouldn't have been on it. Like
it wasn't on him the first time.
Wasn't on him the first time. And then it's like 24 karat gold.
He's like 2 chain. He's got like a huge chain on.
Yeah. Takes off his big fur coat that he was not wearing.
Funny bit. All right, I like this. I'm gonna cut this out so we can make it an actual video later.
Oh no. I think that's the end of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we went.
I love Sonic Adventure DX.
I
love Sonic games in general.
I'm a big fan of video games, dude.
I like video games a lot. I hate White Knight Chronicles.
I'm into that, brother.
Alright, that was the podcast. I've been your host, William.
I've been your host, Ben.
Like before, the cookies were very good. Bye.
Later.